Afternoon, everybody. How y'all doing? It's your boy Rob Thomas Jr., and this is the real news behind the news. Yeah. Today is Tuesday, September 28th, 2021, and I'm gonna be very brief in this video, but I want to talk about something that very few people are paying attention to. Hardly anybody is asking the questions concerning uh, the vaccinations and the profits that the pharmaceutical companies are standing to make off of these vaccinations. Now, basically, what we're learning is that I think it's Pfizer. Put it like this: right now, they're saying that they're promoting a third booster shot. I think that's for the what's that? I forget which company it is that's offering. They're saying that you have to take a third booster shot, and the reason that being is that it's come to light that the vaccines wear off over time. So basically, they're promoting the vaccines as being free to those who can't afford it. But in reality, we know that nothing that is offered to us by our government is free. Somebody has to pay for it somehow. And you know who's paying for those vaccination shots? At $30 a pop. $30 a pop for two vaccinations. Now we don't know how much the booster vaccination shot is gonna cost. But you're looking at just say a total of $90 per person. There's 300 million people in America, so you do the math. But guess what? The pharmaceutical companies are laughing all the way to the bank because basically what is happening, y'all, is that our politicians are basically slaves to the pharmaceutical companies. Our politicians get, hundreds of thousands of dollars in campaign donations from these pharmaceutical companies. So the pharmaceutical companies basically controls the message and the agenda for your politicians. I think I said this last night in the video last night. I'm not sure, but if so, I'm just reiterating again that right now there's a piece of legislation up for votes and up for passage in Congress. And in this legislation, they're trying to rein in the price of prescriptions that the pharmaceutical companies are charging for various medications. We all know, and if you know anybody that's take insulin or some of these other life-saving medications, the prices are ridiculous. I got a prescription right now that I cannot even afford. It's over $200 and some dollars. Medicaid won't even pay for it. I can't afford this prescription. I really need this prescription, but I can't even afford it. But this piece of legislation is allowing Medicaid to negotiate for cheaper prices for these medications. And basically what's happening is you have a lot of members in Congress who are fighting this legislation. They don't want it to go through because their puppet masters, the pharmaceutical companies, are telling them to vote against this legislation so they continue to make ridiculous amounts of profits. Now, with this vaccination, do you all realize that Pfizer alone stands to profit $26 billion this year alone, just off of vaccines? That's not including what the other pharmaceutical companies that's offering vaccinations, what they're going to make. But we do know that Pfizer is planning. They at one point they estimated they're probably going to make 15 billion, but it comes out now they updated that information. Pfizer alone is standing to make $26 billion profit just off vaccination. That's not including all the other medications that they offer. So again, what you're seeing is what's called a wealth transfer. They're taking money from the American citizens under the guise of COVID and transferring it upwards into the pharmaceutical companies. It's a game being played, y'all. And we are the losers. The taxpayers are the losers. Because again, even though they're saying that these shots are free, nothing is free. Somebody has to pay for it. And it comes back, we have to pay for it in the form of taxes. Yeah. Pfizer, again, I'll say Pfizer alone stands to make $26 billion in profits just off vaccination this year. And then what if they come up, what if there's another variant of COVID that's even worse than this Delta variant? That means they got to come back with another vaccination, and they're going to be trying to force you to take the new vaccination. Either way it goes, we're losing as citizens. Y'all really want to know how things working out with these vaccinations? Just look at the country of Israel. Israel pretty much has 90% or more of their citizens already received, have 90% of the citizens in Israel has already received their third vaccination shot. And guess who's filling up the hospitals in Israel? Israel has another outbreak of COVID. This is the third wave, which is worse than the first two waves. And the hospitals are being filled up with people who are already vaccinated. Three vaccination shots now. And they're filling up the hospitals in Israel. Here in America, they're fudging the numbers, but you have just as many people who are vaccinated going into the hospital with severe signs of COVID, symptoms of COVID, as you do unvaccinated. So we're being forced into taking these vaccinations, which again have been proven wear off over time. They're not as effective as they would like you to think, because the vaccinations wear off. You see Joe Biden yesterday basically taking his third vaccination shot. If these vaccinations were so trustworthy and so reliable, why do you have to take three of them? You have to take two. Now you got to take a booster in a lot of cases, because they rush these vaccinations through to get FDA approval. Now they're out there on the market, and they have to have a way of compliance to get people to take it. So now the government is forcing the citizens to take these vaccinations. Y'all realize you have a lot of healthcare workers being fired. If your healthcare workers are reluctant to take these vaccinations, how much more would the average citizen be reluctant from taking these vaccinations? So that now that they know that the government itself cannot force you to take the vaccinations, what they're doing, they're making it mandatory. They're putting pressure on private jobs in the private sector, to mandate that their employees have these vaccinations. Remember about a month or so back, I was telling y'all how it's gonna come to a point where your livelihood is gonna be on the line. You have thousands of people right now who are being fired because they refuse to take these vaccinations. And guess what? Again, the pharmaceutical companies are laughing all the way to the bank, because they're the only ones that stand to profit off these vaccinations. Y'all stay tuned. I'm gonna come back a little bit later on with some more information. I have all my research done. I just done this video on the spur of the moment because I was just going back looking at the profits of these pharmaceutical companies. And again, Pfizer is expected to make $26 billion this year profits just off vaccination. That's not including all the other medication. Your congressmen, your politicians up in Washington, D.C. will not allow legislation to pass that will literally control and bring down some of the prices of these medications that these pharmaceutical companies are price gouging off of, because again, your politicians are controlled by the pharmaceutical companies. Your news media is controlled by the pharmaceutical companies. What you'll witness is one of the greatest propaganda and social engineering experiments in history, whereas your politicians and your mainstream media are in cahoots, being controlled by the pharmaceutical companies to push their products and help them make record profits. Go pay attention to when you watch whatever mainstream media source that you choose to follow, whether it be Fox, MSNBC, CBS, NBC, or whatever. Notice when they go to commercial, what's the first thing you're gonna see? Commercial for a pharmaceutical company. That means your media is corrupted and co-opted by your pharmaceutical companies because pharmaceutical companies sponsors their TV programming. So now you have the media and your politicians complicit in the massive wealth transfer from the citizens of the United States and around the world upwards into the pharmaceutical companies. It's a game being played, and we're losing as citizens. Y'all be blessed. Oh yeah, y'all go ahead, hit that like button, hit the share button. Make sure that you subscribe so when we go live tonight, you'll get the notification. Also, if you really like what we do and you really want to support this channel, please hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, or hit the Venmo. Show us some love and support, man, because we can't really keep doing these things without your support. So until y'all see me tonight, y'all be blessed.